This is Weird Renegade Witches blog. Hit us up when you want some real motherfucking work done. Of course, go to the Weird Renegade website. See the phone number there to hit a Weird Renegade in reference to 101 lessons and 101 monthly lessons and also work. So understand 101 monthly lessons are separate from the lessons that I work with individuals closely and with their various issues and frequencies or whatsoever is going on in their lives. And sometimes it incorporates, of course, work, or as we call it, some cases, spell work in the layman terms. However, I am going to start 101 lessons, and those lessons are most likely going to start on Friday. And at first, I was wanting to do a frequency of course, working through the famine. Still can. However, I'm going to create something that I'm going to start working, especially with young ladies or people, and it's kind of like what we call charm school or occult etiquette in this universal soul. And this is not that regular ass bullshit, that level up bullshit or anything else. So I'm going to keep you posted in reference to that. But if you have questions and you're interested and want to know what exactly it is, or you want to do a one-on-one lesson, which that would be a monthly lesson. However, if you're like, shit, bitch, I need help every day, you hit me up with that. Of course, occult etiquette slash, as they call it, charm, but occult etiquette. And of course, hit me up in reference to lessons, the monthly lessons, of course, in reference to famine and understanding what that is. But of course, Wayward is about that revenge, redemption, responsibility. And you know, art is occultism. Occultism is a motherfucking art, but also occultism is fucking real life. So I just kind of want to go through some things that's been going on in this world of bewitchery, urban voodooism, I will call it, and a lot of illusion, a lot of distractions, a lot of these frequencies, a lot of lame and shit, a lot of dumb shit, right? So I just have questions as I'm going through this flow. As you already see and already know that, I guess, Puff Daddy, Sean Combs, Diddy, whatever you want to call him, you know, is going through that trial over there in that New York. However, as I'm really paying attention to it, and yes, I'm paying attention to it. I'm paying attention to it because it's a study. It's a study of illusion. It's the study of the industry. It's the study of studio. And the funny thing is that when I was at City College, I took a class on, I think, on production and filming and stuff like that. And I'm sitting here looking at the illusion, right? And somebody was telling me that there's a podcast with the two ladies from Living Single. I think the one that played Sinclair and the other one that played, oh, I forgot it, Max. And I was like, why do we even need anything like that, right? And they was, I guess, giving a breakdown, and I didn't see it. I'm just paraphrasing from someone else of, I guess, front scenes, behind the scenes, and what happens across the board. And I thought about it. I said, you know, filming, production, all of that, recording, is all an illusion. It's all a frequency, and it's all to persuade. It's all to make you think something is what it is not, and is what it's not. It's all psychological warfare, right? And so as human beings, we are easily to be deceived. It's like a mirage, right? So anyway, when I was looking at this case, I was looking at a couple of things that's very interesting. And I'm like, what are they trying to distract Black people from? And I understand that we have, you know, visitors visiting us, and I'm talking about other cultures, other races, other ethnicities. You know, I understand that we, you know, of course, be in mixed company. However, but what are they trying to distract us from? Then the other distractor of people, I'm going to, and I'm going to be a little rude. We're going to say the Latino, Mexican community, whatever. That's another frequency that's very interesting and to watch very closely. So they didn't set up, of course, and put us in this weird energy. And it's all fake and a hoax. So as I was listening to the case, I had some fucking questions, and I watched this shit live, and I was listening to a lot of the people out there that call themselves journalists. Okay? And some motherfuckers talk too much, trying to do too much, and they tell the truth of what's going on. So therefore, when we have these black people getting in front of social media, YouTube, Instagram, whatever, Facebook, and all of this, and call themselves, or TikTok, and call themselves reporters, especially black people, you better listen real closely to what the fuck they saying, because black people talk too fucking much. So when I was listening to some of these people, apparently the person I was listening to, he couldn't figure out how to get into the federal court to go listen or get in, to listen to the case. He didn't even know. So people were standing outside. However, we had this one nigga up there talking too fucking much, and he was saying, yeah, you could go in, it's 3 floors, and it's an overflow room, and you could sit in there and listen to the case. So they're listening to the case. And I said, but they can't see in the courtroom. None of the people are talking about that they could see him in the courtroom. They really can't describe. They are lying. So then he peeped what he said, and he switched it and said, no, we could see the trial. You know, nigga, you said it right. You're listening. So then I said, oh, so people don't know what's going on. It could be a full recording. It could be an illusion. You could be listening to something that happened 5 years ago, 10 years ago. You don't know. The other interesting energy to look at, I keep telling you guys, is to look at the daughters. So they straight have them under, of course, the Masonic energy, straight up and straight out. So they have them under the Masonic energy. They're wearing their black, they're wearing their white, they're wearing their their jackets. It's either or, and it's either they're all in black or they're in white. And the really interesting that I peeped, I said, fashion is occultism. Them little Sagittariuses, because you can move Sagittarius into the underworld. Okay, and the energies go hand in hand. So they have the little Sagittariuses, I believe them little twins are Sagittariuses, wearing that badass suit. I mean that jacket with the shoulders pointed up as horns. I said that's pretty fun. So they already got them going. So anyway, I told you guys to watch the girls, especially the Cancer one. As soon I seen her face, I said, this shit is a straight bullshit. She giggling. Okay, she has a little smirk on her face. She tried to change it. She tried to clear it up. Then them dang Sagittarius, they start cracking up. I said, They keep having them hold hands and do all that shit. And then his son, I guess he just like, nigga, I'm just here. They rolled me out of bed. And I'm talking about the one that looked like him. And then Misa's son, what's his name, Justin, he helping his disabled mom. I said, what the fuck is wrong with her? She's supposed to be suing Mary J. Blige. And I was looking. I said, what's her name? That Mimi Frost? I said, what they doing to their feet? What's happening here? Okay, because Mimi Frost is on a damn walker. Well, I don't know now. And was in the same state of frequency. So I'm looking at music. She walking across. I said, is this an act? And then her clothes are looking weird. Her clothes are baggy. The first day of trial, they have her wearing a black and white suit jacket. She's a stylist. What's happening here? And she's not looking really, she's looking real interesting in the face. Is that her? Wait a minute, what's she doing? Because wasn't she against him? And talk about her and her son ride with Cassie? Or what's her name? Casey, whatever. Like, what the fuck is going on here? This is a mess. And then we looking at his mama. She didn't got herself some Geritol, because all of a sudden she's walking, and I said, damn, a few minutes ago she wasn't even walking right. Is that her? Because we don't know what that wig on. Is that her? And she's walking faster and everything. It made me think, I said, is Misa doing too much? What the hell is going on? Then I started thinking, what are all these connections, right? So as I started to listen to the whole frequency, none of it made sense. So they picked his jury. The jury is not in the court with him. They never show us him. They keep showing us AI, or they keep sketching him. Where's this nigga at? Now he has white hair. What in the lie and hoax is going on? You guys are so mentally traumatized. He beat women's asses. He did this, he did that. He sure did. But that's not federal. Getting your ass whooped is not federal. Okay? Oh, he's this, he's that. Shit, it was coming out. Somebody forwarded it over to me. It's coming out that whole video that was done at the dang hotel was altered. I told you niggas that shit was altered. It didn't look right. But you was too much in your trauma to even understand and hear what the fuck I was saying. Anyways, so I said, okay, that's weird. I said, then I started thinking to myself, I said, you know what's even more weird? How about Puff Daddy is not even part of Biggie Small's death, Tupac's death? How about he's not even part of Kim Porter's death? He's just a scapegoat. He may know something about it, but we never think about who in the fuck is behind the scenes. We never follow the money. We don't know who's in the back. We're just looking at the minions in front of us. But you want to believe what they put out. It's so interesting. The more people talk, the more that they create a scene, the more you believe. How about something is so crazy that it's unbelievable? It doesn't mean because the more a person talks, the more they show you that shit is real. So I started to peep I'll Be Sure. And I told you guys this back when she originally died. And I believe it was 2019. Maybe 2019. I'm not going to say 2020, but something around 2019. I said, don't be surprised if Quincy all of a sudden blow up or something's going to go on with I'll Be Sure. I said, I don't believe that Puff Daddy was behind this. Something, it doesn't connect. I see I'll Be Sure. There's a connection, and Quincy. And I'll Be Sure is going around town, of course, having this conversation. He even said they tried to kill his ass. That's too obvious. A Scorpio is not that messy. They'll try shit, but they not that messy to have everything come back to them knowing it will come back to them. That doesn't make sense. But you know, this is above y'all pay grade, right? So I just started going down the line. And I also wonder, why aren't those girls in school? And who was that Asian lady with, I know that was his baby mom. Who was that woman who was carrying a child? You can't bring a child inside the court unless she was sitting in the overflow. What's happening here? Then, as is being reported and being talked about, they keep talking about the sexual shit that was going on with him. We just don't want to admit that Puff Daddy was nothing but a Norman Bates. Okay? And there's a lot of psychological issues going on with him. We don't know anything about really his family background. They gave you a story. They gave you one. And the bottom line is that a lot of people have a lot of energy what they say about him and his background and what's going on. And in this industry, when you just hungry and just want to be so fucking bad, you would do anything and any means necessary. So all we're listening through this whole fucking case is about freakiness, about getting pissed on, about her doing it to having sex or having escorts. That's nothing new. I talked about that a minute ago. And his ass peeking in the goddamn closet and him hiring them escorts to be doing it to his women. That's why I most definitely don't believe all that other shit, because he is not interested in women. He'll produce, but he produce with women, but he's not interested like that. So when listening to the case, why are we listening to what the fuck happened to her? At this point, I don't give a fuck. She got paid. She was a prostitute, Cassie, a prostitute, escort. She sold herself in a situation for fame. She acting like she for real had a career, which she didn't, because she couldn't sing like that. She was just a skinny woman who has Asian background and basically fucked around with Puff Daddy. Somebody even was talking about that damn young Miami, like he forced her. Nah, these niggas be sold, and they love it, and they love connecting themselves to something. And then somebody keep asking me, but what is he in jail for? I said, I don't know. They keep talking about RICO and trafficking. But how do you put that? That means everybody has to go down. And they have. There are people in jail right now that y'all don't know. That's connected to a whole lot of shit, but y'all don't know. Because they don't talk about them. Because they have you distracted. More and more, if you people get out of your distraction and your layman head, this is nothing but one big global universal drug dealing and prostitution ring. And they use our people who are so desperate and hungry and want fame, not star power, but fame, for this energy. I'm doing a video. Are you serious? I'll do it. I mean, okay. For fame. A lot of these people have charges. And you guys crack me up because you guys run around here and be Google fairies, but you're not looking at the frequencies of it. It seems like everybody that they put in front of us have some kind of case. And they've been sentenced to fame. The sentencing is fame. You want fame? Here's fame. And I don't dip in people's pockets and all of that energies, but myself and another spiritual constituents, we were talking about Rizza Islam and how he didn't popped out with some mental pills, health pills. And my question to the spiritual constituents, I said, but whatever happened really with that case with he and his mother? What is this connection with Scientology and the Nation of Islam? What type of deal was that? Was the deal to put on a bow tie and then keep rolling out shit? When I see him pop out them pills, I said, damn, this reminds me of that mess that went on some years back with Brother Polite and all of them having that council. And y'all I don't know if y'all remember that shit, and they was all wanting Brother Polite to come to the table for something he did. And then they was talking about something with some pills. Was this around 2013? And Brother Polite went on this whole frequency, a Nino Brown. Oh, it was a mess. And every time you look with them, there's always something dealing with some kind of pills that they done made something, or a tonic. Just like that story, I don't know who this nigga is up in New York, and women are complaining about him, and he makes tonics, but but they say he's a pervert. But he's connected to the whole conscious community energies. And then you always find out the backstory of these niggas are always some kind of prison. We just talking, we just having a conversation on the spell work of illusion and urban voodooism, right? And the illusions of who these people are and how we put ourselves underneath them. I'm not telling people's business. That's why I say I'm not trying to dip into anybody's pockets, but I'm just trying to understand, what are we looking at here? We are looking at malnourishment. We are looking at famine and poverty. And when you're hungry and thirsty, at any means necessary, you'll do anything. And sometimes we get caught up in the legal system. What's his name? The dude from the kind of the extended Fuji. Is it Forte? John? I'm about to call him Forte. I'm about to say rapper Forte, but John Forte. Remember when he got caught up at the damn airport back in the day, and they put his ass in jail? What's his name? Praz or Praz? The Fugees. And remember when DiCaprio testified in the case? Are we not connecting? Are we that crazy out here? And you think these white people, these actors and all these motherfuckers are not incorporated in this shit? Did we forget about that actress who had a whole prostitution ring, a children prostitution ring, and they put her ass in jail? Are we forgetting about the modeling industry? What was really going on? And why Naomi Campbell and Tyra Banks are held hostage because they was part of it? Epstein's girlfriend, all that shit. It's a ring. It goes around in a circle, and you don't know who is who. All you know is that they put people in front of us, and these niggas be up here doing codes and all this shit, and it's all type of warlock and wizardry. And we are the sacrifice because you're looking at it. And this whole thing is this is exactly what it is. None of it makes sense. Y'all for real out here acting like this man have power. This nigga's fucking white men. He'll be caught. Older white men. What power does he have? He ain't got power. Black men who fucking white men, you ain't got power. That's not power. They got the power. Because you're fucking to get ahead. And we're watching this shit. And we're watching a fucking illusion. At least with OJ and them and Young Thug and all the rest, some of these other niggas, even with Johnny Depp, you seen them sitting in the court. R. Kelly, we've seen him sitting in the court. At least the setup was better, and the production. Puff Daddy is a fucking flow shower. Yeah, show it in court. And they keep showing you AI shit. Then if they do show you him, they showing you the Haitian Diddy. We've had Sean Combs, Puff Daddy. Those are all different individuals. And we didn't even know it. Y'all niggas thought that was really him. That is him. That's why the world is the way it is. That's why the world is the way it is. You heard me. I said Haitian. Because he don't look Jamaican. I said, where do they keep finding all these Haitian Diddy's from? Y'all out here seriously looking at this case. I think yesterday Quincy came in a fucking gray blazer or whatever. I said, oh, there's confusion. He's wearing gray. That's confusion. Shit, you might be looking at a Somalian Diddy. You don't know which one they may give you. What I'm more interested about is Russell Simmons is back in the United States, huh? What was it, last week or so? He was roaming Manhattan. And a woman was like, oh, Russell Simmons. I said, that nigga back? All his charges must be dropped. I guess his daughter did a good job. What's really happening? Because that nigga said, I ain't coming back. What's happening? Why is Russell Simmons back in the country? Real quiet, isn't it? Then you got Tory Lanez cut the fuck up. They said 14 times. Then you got lying niggas talking about some Mexicans did. Ain't no Mexicans did no shit like that. Ain't no Mexicans. Stop lying. And when the person was telling me, I said, well, 14 times, huh? And they said he was in the yard? But 14 times in the yard. Ooh. Not saying it can't happen. I'm just saying it's interesting. And a Mexican did it. And they said he was cut all up in the head and face and shit. Well, according to those AI pictures that they have roaming around of him in the hospital bed, I don't know about that. And what they said, collapsed lungs and all that, and I don't know about that. Seemed very interesting to me. Are they going to release him early? Is he in there? It just seems like he in this story of Poe, they may be in protective custody, like they're hiding out somewhere. And then number 14 is very interesting because we got the Pope coming in at 14, the high point of 4, and all of that. Then you got your 5 coming in, and then what's happening here? So you're going to try to make this make sense to me. And niggas going to say anything. All this time, it's been a quiet place with Tory Lanez, but he gets stabbed up, and people will sit here and connect it to Puff Daddy. Meanwhile, the Menendez brothers are being re-sentenced and maybe under time served because they've done over 30 plus years for a crime that they didn't do, allegedly. And they may be out soon. So we have Puff Daddy, the Menendez brothers, which there is a connection to the Menendez brothers, to Puff Daddy. Then we have Tory Lanez over here in a California state prison. What's happening? But then over here at the Puff Daddy case, they keep bringing state shit or city litigation in federal, because technically with the Diddy case, why are we talking simple court business in federal? Like I said, it's not federal to whoop someone's ass and be a freaky nigga. Connect the dots. Diddy connected to the Menendez. Menendez connected to Tory Lanez. The number 14. Then what does the Pope have to do with this? You see what I'm talking about? See the hoax? See the confusion? See the gray suit jacket? I mean, what's going on here? Right? This on some bullshit. I don't believe any of it is going on. Then you have crazy ass Jaguar Wright. She out there and she wearing black. And then she's wearing black and white. She wearing earrings and shit. It's like, this is all crazy. This is like crazy Masonic shit. And it's happening in the month of May. And Puff Daddy being an alleged Scorpio, the shadow self is supposed to be Taurus. But you got to be careful, because you can move it into Gemini, and then there you got Quincy causing confusion. The confusion is the Gemini. This is above y'all pay grade. This is horoscope. They make you think it's in Taurus, but the confusion is in Gemini. It's an illusion. Which taps back into the twin girls. They letting us know because they're Sag. They're working in shadows. Because everything is not in the dark, is in the shadows. Because it could be dark and then there's still a shadow. Y'all don't get it. They playing games with us in shadows. The shadow self to a Taurus is a Scorpio. The Scorpio shadow self is a Taurus. They're having it in the month of May, and I call it the beginning part of May to give you the illusion, but it's really not May. It's really June, which is pushing up into the energies, which is Gemini. Then they have the twins working in shadow with their brother Quincy. It's all horoscope. Quincy is the gray area, Gemini. Because those twins are always the shadows, which tap back into the higher frequency of Pisces. And that is why you also have the Cancer sister in the middle. Because Cancer can turn into Virgo. But Cancer can also turn into the Pisces. But then the Cancer can also turn into Scorpio. That's above y'all pay grade. And they got her in between them girls. It's a whole horoscope scene. They fucking around. I'm not about to fuck around with these people. And they fucking around with charts. They fucking around with charts. And frequencies and people and energies. That's all this is. It's a whole bunch of chart work. And then you have Misa and her son. Aren't they both Capricorns? But what is Capricorn shadow self? Cancer. But you can push the Capricorn into Sag, which leads back into Gemini. And who's leading the energy, they'll give you the illusion of Capricorn, but who's hiding in the mist is Aries, which can also go back to the horns. Because the horns of a ram is quite a little different than the horns of a goat. And when I looked at the girls, their blazers or whatever, I said, that looked like a ram. Which would tap back into the Sag and Gemini. I told you it's above your pay grade. And then who runs the house? Capricorn runs a house. Aries run a house. And Aries run the house with the Cancer, the Taurus, and Gemini in it. This case is all about horoscope and bullshit and confusion. Because it's all a production at the end of the day. And we've been distracted. Makes you relook at why in the fuck Mary J. Blige and shit is caught up. All of these niggas are caught up. I was talking to a spiritual constituent and I was talking about the movie Juice back in 1992. I said, what was that movie really about? I said, isn't that movie very similar? I said, I just don't know who Raheem is. Because we didn't want to connect that Omar Epps is Puff Daddy. Do you think Raheem is Suge Knight? Because Steel is Notorious Big. Tupac is Tupac Bishop. Tupac dead. Steel got stabbed. But who had the juice at the end was Omar Epps, a.k.a. Diddy. That's above y'all pay grade. We just having fun, right? Looking at the diagram. You couldn't do juice today. It'll be above people pay grade. Straight up. They always put energies in our eyes and our faces about everything. What was the shit with Faith Evans with Stevie J? What the fuck does she have to pay for? Usher. These are just like unseen, it's like unseen villains. But everybody's caught up, right? Everybody's caught up. It's almost as if you really stand back and look at everybody. Are these people really paid? Are they really billionaires? Because this Diddy case and how the world is moving, it's an illusion. It's basically niggas covering other people's shit. They've talked about allegedly with the government that people wire in money. Other countries wire in money and change the name of the corporation. And those monies go into accounts. And they talked about how monies come from certain countries and they will reject it, especially coming from African countries. Okay? However, when we look at the third world energies of America, from Saudi Arabia, the Middle Easterns, to these Indians, even Asians, or whoever, Ukrainians, Russians, or whatever, who and what, how is the rise in America happening? But if you follow the money, allegedly, we just reporting, it's just what it is. We having a conversation. You can't believe me. You know, they say that people out here are interesting. Okay. But if you really follow the money and you look at the existence of these people, it's really not their money. You guys really thought that Jay-Z and Beyonce bought that house on the coast. It's just in their name. Y'all will really believe Jay-Z is a billionaire. You sure about that? Are you sure Beyonce really got that money like that? You sure about that? Are you sure Beyonce really got that money like that? You sure Beyonce really got that money like that? You sure about that? Are you sure Beyonce really got that money like that? You sure Beyonce really got that money like that? You sure Beyonce really got that money like that? You sure Beyonce really got that money like that? You sure Beyonce really got that money like that? You sure Beyonce really got that money like that? You sure Beyonce really got that money like that? You sure Beyonce really got that money like that? You sure Beyonce really got that money like that? You sure Beyonce really got that money like that? You sure Beyonce really got that money like that? You sure Beyonce really got that money like that? You sure Beyonce really got that money like that? You sure Beyonce really got that money like that? You sure Beyonce really got that money like that? You sure Beyonce really got that money like that? You sure Beyonce really got that money like that? You sure Beyonce really got that money like that? You sure Beyonce really got that We just talking. You sure? Are you sure these people houses are their houses, especially in Beverly Hills, and all of a sudden it goes on the market? They talk about Oprah. They talk about how Oprah, and I believe it was at Bank of America, allegedly had accounts that she didn't even fuck with. They said it was like she forgot about the accounts. Yes, she forgot about it because it's not hers. So when we talk people like Puff Daddy and all these niggas, it's not theirs. These niggas are broke. It's an illusion. They get their money and their payments from other shit. I was looking at this energy. Wait a minute, let me go back. I was just talking about Stevie J. And I was talking about how these people be caught up in crimes. Let's go back to Jocelyn Hernandez, because we're going to stop being scared of her big man ass. And she clowning people all the fucking time. Every time somebody talks about her and they meet her in person, they keep telling me, they say they don't care what pussy and what that is. They keep saying that she's like a whole nigga. So I'm just going to say it. I like her. Or him. I don't know. I like her. But she doesn't sit right with me. We seen this woman beat people asses and attack. I remember seeing her on Married to Medicine, and she went at it with Toya. And Toya kind of just like stepped back from her, and then I got a little interested, like, what's happening here? And Toya's a Taurus, and she's supposed to be a Scorpio. What's happening here? And I knew something right then and there. The way how Jocelyn be kind of terrorizing people, she's protected. She hit Carly Red upside the head with flowers. She attacks people. But she doesn't get in trouble. Us civilians, if we did that shit, we'll be handcuffed and have a felony. They'll take you off to jail. You're sitting in somebody's cell with a fucking court date. That's a civilian. The kind of shit that Jocelyn Hernandez does is interesting. We seen this woman do a pimps up, hose down, beat down on a woman smaller than her, beat her ass, beat her damn top off of her. And niggas was watching, letting this shit beat her down. And she got away with it? We don't hear nothing else about that. The next thing you know, they have her doing a little bit of this and a little bit of that. She still have her Zeus show and everything. Matter of fact, they allegedly saying she gonna be on Euphoria with Zendaya. What sentencing is this? What is that? What's this? And what the hell is Zeus? What is behind that? Because you know Zeus I'm assuming was an investor in that movie Sinners. Was it Sinners or was it a different one? No, not Sinners. That movie with Jonathan Majors, with him being a bodybuilder. We don't ask questions with this shit. Okay. And then I was tripping on her name, Bonnie Bella. What is she setting her daughter up for? Because that name Bonnie is always connected to some kind of porn. You know, like that lady named Bonnie Blue. Who allegedly be having them gang bangs. I mean, I'm looking at some of her energies, Jocelyn Hernandez. Shouldn't she be, was it the aggravated assault, pimping and pandering? Shouldn't somebody be doing a restraining order on her? She does terrorist threats and trafficking. That's federal. She has federal on her. I'm not in her business. We just looking at it from a civilian standpoint, right? Can we talk to spell work? What in the occultism is that? That's what you call practical works. That's not spirit. That's practical. Some of you people, that's why she says she don't care about no voodoo. She's correct. She don't care about no voodoo. Because she knows enough that spirit is not helping, is not in this. It's practical. Because what's happening is that any work being done on her is not going to work because the practical man is stepping over the spirit. But at the end of the day, it's going to come back. It's all going to come back. Because she knows who her devil is. She knows the devil is not an entity that she can't see. She knows her devil is what she can see and who she made a deal with. And she understands enough that that's what's going to take her down. So no, she don't care about no voodoo. None of these people. It's a game. I was minding my business. I was looking at this energy as we talk about these people in their pockets and what type of energies they're under. I was listening to the story of that Haim. Is it Haim or Haim Saban? And he had what I call a sub studio. And he's the one who introduced the Power Rangers to us. And I'm assuming that the Power Rangers was the pseudo energy of the Japanese martial arts crew or whatever. However, I remember when the damn Power Rangers came out and the Ninja Turtles. My nephew was whooping my ass. But boys were boys and they didn't play, and I loved it. Now, these little weakling little niggas that we got today, we need to bring back some Power Rangers. Weak as fuck, right? So anyway, I didn't even know it was such an uproar with the Power Rangers in there and how they would, how they were. When you start to listen to the whole energies of the Power Rangers, that was some fucking spell work. They had them under ritual. I didn't even know that just about all the fucking Red Rangers were cutting up. I said, oh, they were under work. Now that's some motherfucking work. All of them were under work. I didn't even know there was a first Yellow Ranger, which was, I don't know, she was Latina, whatever, and so on and so on. So when you hear the whole energies, you know what? The Power Rangers actually, they make me think like they are a bunch of Orishas. Like they under the energies, I'm just on the surface like Ochezi. Just jumping. Very Orisha. But I can clearly see they were under some demonic ass shit. They were calling on them entities. Especially, who's the one that was like more the famous one, and they kept giving him all of the Rangers. Just about. And then he did he commit suicide? in 2022, the one that was kind of all the Rangers, and I didn't know his brother was a Ranger. I didn't look at the Power Rangers. Like, it was just like very interesting, right? And I was listening to the psychologist dude that used to be on MTV and stuff like that, and he said something very interesting. He keeps putting his degree and his study in front, talking about, well, if I wasn't a psychologist, an educated psychologist, I would believe it's a curse over these people. Wow. I said, so therefore, if you believe in spells and curses, you're uneducated because you need to match it with a study. And if you could match it with a study, then it can't be a curse. No, he has to be debunked. It was a fucking curse. And the Power Rangers were under work. But here's the thing that was very interesting of what they were saying in the interview. They were basically underpaid big time under this sub studio under Haynes Saban. They were saying how he would say, you just lucky you famous. They were talking about someone would get paid $750 per episode. That is minimum wage. What the fuck? So I've been looking at some of the energies in reference to the acting world. They are paying very low these days, like $200 and stuff like that. I just do my research of some of the energies. So anyway, when I was looking at this frequency and listening to it, I said, damn, that is fucked up. I said, these motherfuckers really are out here something out here. How can I say it? These people be out here desperate, and you have predators, and they feel they can do anything to you because you want to be famous. So these people out here, for real, some of them are martial arts, like for real, they apparently they was doing their own stunts. They was doing everything. They even created the likes of them in action figures, and they wasn't getting the money for that. They said that Haim Saban was a motherfucker, and it looked like he was an Islamic Jew. Muslim, whatever, Middle Eastern, but it was a double take of energy. They said that they really wasn't making their money until they were sold to Disney. This was a whole phenomenon, the Power Rangers. But I know for a fact there was a whole bunch of summoning and work. And what I understood, they were summoning a whole lot of shit up in that desert before they started, and that gave them the energies. They would be under ritual. They would be under mental rituals. Some of them continued to think they were Power Rangers. And I'm not about to get all into the works, but I've heard some things with their whole energies in the works. So we have to kind of look at the frequencies of what's going on in the universal soul, right? Because you know that I've been talking about the Beyonce effect and the study of Beyonce. And I'm just using the name, the person. We didn't really realize that the Beyonce effect fucked up the industry, and it fucked up eras. I was listening to something and I said, dang, this person's true. We used to have periods and eras. We used to have pop culture. And the pop culture created the culture. It created the mind, right? And the thing about it is that the reason why a lot of us and most of us are depressed and not living is because we're on social media and we keep feeding off of social media, which is nothing. That in reality, we need to be out in the universal soul feeding, and we're hungry. We understand creativity comes from feeding. Okay? And if everything is shut down, monitored, and so on, then how do we feed? The energy of Beyonce stopped all of that. It stopped the music industry. As Black people, it will appear we don't have a cultural custom and foundation. This woman fucked up the whole energy. Not her, but the energies behind it fucked up the whole energy. Clothing style, thought process, movement. That energy was even jealous of Nicki Minaj. It was jealous of Lizzo. It stole A. Marie. What's her name? Tidra Mosley. It shut down Brandy. It kicked out Jill Scott. It disintegrated Lettucey. We fully didn't get to even enjoy what's her name? Navia. Britney Spears went to the left and right. White girls are angry. White girls are in anarchy. White girls are into revenge and redemption because they knocked out the Britney Spears chick. The Beyonce effect fucked up the occult world. Due to the Beyonce effect. Okay, bye. Yeah, cool. Yeah. Due to the Beyonce effect, people didn't realize that energy fucked up the occult world along with her sister Solange. When Beyonce started to tinker into the occult world, the Orishas and all of that, and then Solange had that video with some of them YouTube witches up in it, it fucked up the whole game because everybody was connected. And that's when everybody was like, I'm a witch, you a witch, they a witch, we all witches, right? You didn't grab that part. When Beyonce and her sister Solange wiggled their asses up in the world of occultism, it fucked it up and made it very layman. It made it not be taken seriously. And then when you really start to notice, that's when you start to see more of a growth in the rise of being in Santeria and Ifa and also in Palo. Tarot, readers, affirmationists, New Age, merging New Age into Orishas, Alikes, gay boys, all up in the Alikes doing tarots. They can date the daughters of Oshun. They can date the daughters of Yemaya. Haitian magic, Haitian initiations. Everybody. They think that they know who Oya is. They think they know who Yemaya is. They got stuck on lemonade. It fucked up the whole energy, and it was intentional. Retreats. Merging Indian Hinduism into Orishas. Like for real pushing out Christianity for this other shit. Egyptian comedics. Y'all didn't even notice that. This Beyonce effect is a whole study. It turned you into hoes. It turned you into doing shit for your nigga. It turned you into being down. It made you forget you're a woman. It made you ride. It made you, ride with homosexual men. It pulled you into the ballroom syndrome. It made you think that her and Jay-Z were a wonderful couple. Men were in illusion, for real, believing the persona of Jay-Z. But not knowing that we lost ourselves. I heard the concert was very interesting. They're creating new leaders of the black culture, whatever we have. The rise of the Knowles family. Fuck them. And fuck that book. We have our own books inside of us. We have our own stories. Fuck them. And we don't need no fucking leaders. Let them be over there in their subculture. Let them be over there with the ballroom crew or whoever. Let them be over there in that subculture. And we create our own culture, because due to that frequency, it removed the culture. Because I don't know who backs her up. Do the whites and Asians back her up? And we got to be careful of that when we say Asians, because I'm talking about the Chinese people. I'm not talking about those Hindusans, or the Indians, or the South Asians, whatever they want to call themselves these days. Somebody was saying to me behind the closed doors, Rumi, what's her name? Rumi was sedated. That's why she was calmer. They was talking about they're suspicious of Blue Ivy. They said she looked like a tall boy. And they believe that of course, this Beyonce energy is her last go-round, according to what was presented, and that the stage setting was similar to a pentagram. And I said, but what was the concert about, though? She was just in concert. I'm just talking spell work. I'm talking about the distractions. I'm talking about things that we didn't even think about. I'm talking about how we got caught up in some shit and we don't know how to get the fuck up out of it. Because we invested in it. They use Beyonce to restructure the black community. Did y'all see the marketing energy for Tina Knowles in that book? And it was a whole man pretending to be her. Anyway, they used the study of Beyonce to restructure the black community, and it tore down morality and culture. And you guys say, it's not all on her. No, 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 no. I said the likes of her, she's just a face. But the monies that drove it, you got to watch it. Because it fucked us up. The Cannes Film Festival is rolling. And they have guidelines for women. The guidelines for women is you can't, no nudity dresses and no trains. So they're using Halle Berry as the nigga setup, knowing that she's biracial, the nigga setup to set the standard. But the rest of them women got on that red carpet at the Cannes. It was wearing they're showing their arms and whatever else is going on. And I got a little suspicious. I said, nudity, legs and arms. What's happening here? What is the culture that's investing in America or investing in a certain frequency around the world? Invested in America, investing in the Cannes. Oh, the Islamic culture. We are being governed. They're trying to tell us we can't show our arms, our legs, our backs. See, they give you the illusion because they're trying to say in so many words, well, since shit been niggerized, we're going to cut this real quick. No, it's a culture that came in on people. And they playing games and they're using black people. They use the Beyonce effect to restructure the black community and how we dress, how we flow, how we talk, how we think, how we move, and then used us to say, look at these niggas here. Now we're going to restructure it. I told you that's what they were doing. They always use us. It's the Miley Cyrus effect. So now they want to restructure everything based off of us being misfits. Plain and simple. But it's all an illusion. Now you dum-dums out here talking about, I'm going to be dressed to impress. You heard me. I was people making a big deal because in Africa they have this energy called, I guess it's the 11th annual African Magic Viewers Choice Awards. And they was dressed to the T, wearing 3D gowns and this and that. Again, outdoing the American culture. Now they're setting standard. Now they're gonna wear gowns and they're gonna be covered up, and it's gonna be eloquent. It's gonna be beautiful. It's not gonna be this ghetto shit that's been going on, right? It's not gonna be this energy like black people in proms, like all that makeup they put on the girls for prom, and these girls looking like they're about to get married, right? They're going to set the standard now. They're going to correct time. And all the guidelines is really honing and focusing on women. From the Cannes, even the Met Gala was very interesting. I went back and I thought about it. I said, this dandy shit didn't make sense, right? They just set up black people. They set up black people against the fucking Indians. We're going to keep it layman. And y'all didn't catch it. I started thinking, I said, if they really wanted to tap into the black energy, why didn't they do Afrofuturism? Why didn't they do Afro Cybertronic? Where? Why didn't they do American Zulu Nation? And American Zulu Nation is dealing with more beading. They have a new pageant that deals with beading and trains. Gowns. Why didn't they do that? These are fashion subcultures. They actually could have did Afro goth. and used, what's the that Seattle, oh, what's her name? Grunge singer as the template. Because that's how grunge started in Seattle. Was from a black woman, right? Y'all can look her up. Because I go back to the Zulu, I call it the American Zulu Nation beading industry, which is a subculture. It taps back into the Orishas and the Haitian frequency in Central and South America, which leads back into Mexico. Why didn't we do that? That was more substantial. When you deal with the Afro-Goth effect, that taps into Senegal and South Africa. Right? There were so many energies. The other energy that they could have went into was dandy grunge. Dandy grunge was in the 90s, if they want to be cute about it. That's when you had a lot of groups and a lot of especially black rock groups come in with the top hats and more fitted wear and so on and mix it, and they had the more nasty looking dreads and all this stuff, not no fucking locks. You know, stuff like that. But they went to the left with this, and it was intentional. Right? The Met Gala, as you already know, is supposed to be a whole philanthropy thing, and I don't know what the fuck this was about. They focused on 3 people. Tyler Perry, and he looked like the daughter of Yemaya, this South African woman who's supposed to be a doctor, or I don't know, her name was Precious. And then George Lucas. I said, do we need to call elder care adult services? Does he know his money is being donated? Because when he was walking with his wife, who's a boomer / Gen X, I was like, what's he doing there? And he walking like, what the fuck am I doing here? It's been past my fucking bedtime. And I said, what they about to do with George Lucas? That man minds his business. I wonder, does he still have the company over there in the Presidio in San Francisco, DreamWorks? That damn Ann Winter? She don't want to be bothered with y'all. Megan Thee Stallion? Showing what's going on behind the scenes? If that's Ann Winter, the way they got rid of Andre Leon, I don't know. That shit was horrible. They gave this Met Gala black people crumbs. Y'all eat anything, you're just full of crumbs. Nothing. But I hate the fact that because of this Met Gala, it's supposed to show who's going to be the in thing. I seen this whole marketing energy for Hulu. I think it's called All Affair or something like that. And Kim Kardashian, Niecy Nash, and I think Tiana Taylor and stuff, and all of them are on this show. I was quite insulted because who they were on the show with was with some people who've been in the industry for a long time, and I'm like, what is this? That's a subculture. Because it's very clear that Kim Kardashian have money behind her. Damn. That's what it is. It's not these people are talented. They have sponsors. Sorry if I came Johnny come lately. I said this is all practical work. They all have sponsors. So Niecy Nash is sponsored by the gay community. Of course they're going to hype her ass up. So is Tiana Taylor. Hyped up. Kim Kardashian, I don't know. Maybe it's them Chinese and shit that she was on that jet with. Who knows? Because you know that whole story about that whole thievery that happened, that's a fake ass story, and it was fake when it happened. And they've already, and I don't know what trial she in with this pretend man, because they said that man dead. He died. They said that last month. They said the man that robbed her allegedly is dead. So who in the fuck is the case? I don't get it. And the case was 2016. What are you talking about, trial? That's what the Met Gala is producing. But here's my energy with this Met Gala. They didn't realize that people around the world was laughing at them. People are talking about saying, what the fuck? They said the black people were looking crazy. They don't understand what the fuck was going on. They're being laughed at. But it was a setup. I believe it was a setup by the Hindu people. Some of the Hindu people that came were dressed in their regular garb. Is this guy, and I'm pronouncing, is it Diligit? Deshant, whatever. Diljilit. Then his last name is Dosanjh. Then I got confused by him because he was dressed like a whole Moor with a turban. And people say he was the best dressed and outdressed everybody. I said, because that was the plan. Just like this Isha Abani. It was the plan. When people were cracking up at Anne Hathaway saying her attire was boring, that was intentional. I didn't understand why in the fuck was Al Sharpton there. What the fuck was that? What's happening? What? It was a setup. They're building the South Asians. And they're calling themselves not South Indians, but South Asians. They were talking about with that Diligit dude that he was supposed to wear some jewels from Cartier. And they was talking about that Cartier let this white girl wear the jewels, and they were trying to say that the jewels that he was supposed to wear was stolen from India. No, they wasn't. The Indians, the hybrid Indians stole from Egypt. The study of the whole Cartier effect is that he went to Egypt, to Africa, whatever, went underground. It is a little suspicious because now I'm suspicious of shit, but whatever it was, he was a thief. And he went into those tombs, stole all that jewelry. That's why they said his ass and his crew were cursed. And a lot of his emeralds and gems are basically emulating what he stole. So the jewelry that they're talking about came from melanated people. Now, remember I told you there were the Egyptians and then there were the Indians. And basically the Indians of the Hindus came and took over the Indians. That's why there's a lot of interesting merging culture going on, because not only did they go and steal jewelry, but they stole the religion. So we have to be careful, because they're creating new story tales for things that are untrue. Then I was listening to this woman named Yvonne Briggs that needed to tell us all of her accolades, I guess, to speak on the Met Gala and Law Roach. And I'm about tired of that word given. Or is it giving or given? Isn't that a gay word? That's spell work, right? And I was like, I don't give a fuck. And I guess she's supposed to be Afro-Cuban. And I listened to her. I said, she on my nerves. And so anyway, she was talking about Law Roach's reaction to this other actress. What's her name? Because I'm looking. I guess Anna Sawai. Had a similar suit to Zendaya's, and they keep making a big deal of the connection of Bianca Jagger. I said, is she about to die? Oh, what's happening here, right? And I said, why are they even interviewing Law Roach? He's a stylist. And I don't know if he was trying to do a Cap Calloway, because I seen Jerry Lee Lewis, his hair. I said, oh, they got him under ritual. And I said, that style of suit is from the 70s, the late 60s into the 70s. Especially, you would see those type of suits all the time. I don't see the big deal. I thought she was emulating Diana Ross for a minute. Mahogany. The spell work, right? Megan Thee Stallion looked like a 1990s crackhead. Angel Reese looked awkward. Simone Biles looked awkward. I don't know why Lionel Richie was there. When were we going to catch that Diana Ross was a whole trans man? Sometimes she has a booty chin, sometimes she doesn't. Which one is it? And who in the fuck was that on that red carpet with the never-ending story? Remember I told you with the Obatala effect. How in the fuck we didn't know that she had a whole white family? You heard me. Look at her face. Compare it. I had a spiritual constituent that was telling me that that one of her people that she knows went to her concert, Diana Ross concert, and said they wondered, was she a whole man in drag? Look at her whole facial features. You're like, what the fucks? People out here tripping on that whole energy of that black woman in Times Square. And apparently this is an exhibit by a man who's biracial, whose father's Jamaican, mother white. And in his head, he has a view and a frequency of what he thinks of black people are. I seen the exhibit. But people's real issue is the one, I guess, in Times Square. Well, first of all, I don't even think that's a woman. That looked like a whole trans man to me. I looked at him, I said, that looked like them drag queens that be in a tenderloin, be wearing them damn braided wigs. And what era is that? That looked like from the late 90s into the early millennium type of look. And everybody keep calling it fat. Nah, they're up there. That's spell work. Art is spell work, and they're trying to generate something from those statues. These people loving it out here. They love taking us down at us and mocking us. That's a mock. And these biracials out here are doing it quite well. I'm not going to say all y'all, but y'all are interesting. Just like Halle Berry, interesting. They had her up in the bed with Van Hunt trying to use lubricant. And they were underneath the covers. I said, get the fuck out of here. So when I'm looking at this, it's intentional in spell work. And it's a negative spell work. But when I'm looking at, I don't think that's a woman. That look like a straight up man. Y'all better look at it a little closer. And y'all keep worried about, it's fast, you fast, you fast. Oh, black. Y'all are worried about some dumbass shit, and I think it's social media. Because we can all see that's not a fat woman. That's people insulting black women and saying we're fat. And if we have any meat or thickness, they're going to insult you. See, it's all psychological. They've been doing this shit for so long. You're too thick, you're too fat. You're too this, you're too fat. You're fat. Black women either we're ugly, our hair is ugly, our face is ugly, our bodies are ugly, we too big, we too this, we too that, we too this. It's always to disrespect us. So they put an energy in the middle of Times Square. Automatically people be like, oh my God, look at this, look at that. And it's all a mocking. It's spell work. It's been going on. It's been going on for decades, for centuries. They've always mocked us, and it's intentionally done. So at this point, they're really trying to rock us and tear us down. But I don't believe that is a fucking woman. Because either that's a third world woman or that's a fucking man. And in my American eyes, I said, that's a damn man. I've seen them all the time in a tenderloin. Shit, stop playing with me. We always talking about that. Look like some kind of trance. When I looked at that statue, I said, is that a trans man working a CNA job? At an SRO, taking care of people. And somebody wants me to talk about the ICE raids in Memphis. And I feel, what am I going to talk about the ICE raids in Memphis when we should understand what this is really about? How about America let all these people in to do their bidding and their crime waves, and now they want them to leave. And then some of the people been here so long that they've created families, and they're saying you're illegals, you got to go. Notice that they're targeting certain people, even if they come up to the schools and shit like that and get at people. Who are those kids connected? Because always understand, they always want to question different things or question the kids. Start to look at some of the frequencies of who in the hell they busting. They not busting every fucking body. Maybe that's why Trump told the FBI don't focus on white collar crimes, focus on the immigration and ICE. Because they want to keep going on, and it's being done in phases. And when I say Trump, I know that's not him. I know there's something else behind it. So understand, when I say Trump, I'm really talking about who's supporting him, because that's not Trump, allegedly. Anyway, understand what that is. So when we talk about the shit that's going on in Memphis, then start to add up the crime waves, the drugs, rappers being shot, shit like that, then you understand why there's ICE raids. They know what's going on. You guys out here tripping on Pope Leo. Look, Y'all know motherfucking well he has no background to no fucking Louisiana. And the people from what I heard in Louisiana who has that last name don't know who in the fuck he is and what he's about. He has no connections. They talk about he's from Chicago. Maybe we should really dig deep. Is he Italian or is he a dang Indian? And I'm being layman. And I'm talking about Hindu. Because what people are saying, they're like, who is he? Black people trying to connect this man. What are you talking about? The original man was supposed to be black. They must have took his identity and his background, but the original Pope was supposed to be that. And according to the smoke. And you guys forget they had already decided on a black Pope back in January. When the first death of Pope Francis. Not the second death of him, they chose this man that we don't know who he is. And according to the people who have that last name of Louisiana, they don't know who he is. And then it made me think about Sinners and Capone and the Italians up in Chicago. Wouldn't it be very interesting if you used to do a DNA on this Pope Leo? And he's really a South Asian, as they call themselves now. Coming from the Asian country. He's Middle Eastern. He's Pakistani. Isn't that what they doing? Everybody lying about their ethnicity. The Chinese saying they Mexican. The Hindus and Indians under DMV now are lying, saying that they're Asians, I guess so, whatever. They're saying they're Asians. The Mexicans are saying they're white under DMV. You have Indians coming to America getting scholarships in the medical world. You have Indian women getting scholarships and educated into being doctors, nurses, and birthing nurses. Are we not talking about this? The rise? Are we not going to talk about how they disintegrated who we are, so to lift them up, and got rid of Christianity and the church? And now they have new church with these whack ass niggas up in there hooping and hollering and this and that and this and that. And now the churches are up in fucking warehouses and in commercial businesses. And now they want to focus on, they do tarot, and in the Bible it says this. And they want to force us into Leviticus and Timothy and focus on women and talking about, and the psychic is whispering in the ears. Psychics are CIA, but less educated psychologists. We're having B. Simone out here talking about that she's having some kind of women's initiative, and you having young ladies hooping and hollering, crying over a fake ass prayer. That's a fake bitch. And I don't play around with no Christian bitches fake Christian bitches out here praying and shit under a cult. Talk about, well, I'll just pray for her. Don't pray for me, bitch. Because if you go get baptized, you will drown. That's what's been happening to some of these people doing fake baptisms, like Ray J and them. They don't understand no word. It's an act. They're teaching these people to be Christians. They revamped Christianity and they revamped it so it doesn't work. That is incorporating Orishas and Hinduism. Because when you go back to the original word, we were not supposed to incorporate ourselves in that energy. We're supposed to understand what spirit is. But those people who are third world understood with black people, that works. See, them African people and stuff, and the missionaries that taught them that shit about Christianity, that's weak shit. They ain't real shit. That's passive shit. Because the real shit is revolutionary. And there's Bible witches. These niggas gonna sit up there and have you caught up in fuck, who is it? Have you stuck under Levi and who is it? The Zacharias or whoever? If I'm saying it wrong, the taxpayers. They're gonna have you under famine. They're gonna keep stealing your money and lying. The new culture have you guys under confusion. You walk outside, you see them, they looking at you up and down and mugging you. And I'm talking about these people that they call South Asians, these Hindus are motherfuckers. And then you have Trump going over there to Saudi Arabia, getting investments, and then you have all of the tech people, the Citibank motherfuckers, Elon Musk, all of them going to Saudi Arabia. I had a spiritual constituent telling me how apparently if you on your period and shit, you can't pray. What is it? If you're a Muslim woman, you can't pray if you're on your period and shit. Fuck them. I heard somebody audacity to say, why you say damn to Moors? I'm saying damn to all this shit because it's mocking us. And it's trying to now put black women / women under some kind of control. Because there's investments in America. Let's really think about why in the fuck they fired that black woman who's the librarian in Washington, D.C. Was it the Congress? What was it? Which is the congressional librarian or something? The black woman, the first black woman. And you had, who is this? I mean, it's a mess going on here. Then that's why you have to match up the statue and shit like that. You got to look at the Pope. I don't care about all the demonic shit with him. I don't care about, is he Indian? Is he from Pakistan? And they stealing identities? What is he? You think I'm crazy? Okay. But this is what's going on. I told you that Asian hate law had nothing to do with no damn Chinese or whoever. Over there in Hong Kong, they too busy enslaving Filipinos, having them housemaids. Now that make a lot of sense. Especially with the Taiwanese calling the Filipinos monkeys. They over there doing housework. We've been around these people forever. They ain't been tripping about no fucking Asian hate. That shit was for these Indians coming in here. Let alone, don't fuck around with the Middle Easterns because they'll start saying that they are Asian. And some people believe they are. It depends. Everything is fucked up, right? You have Indians running corner stores. I was like, hell nah, with this energy with them owning corner stores and selling pickled devil eggs and niggas running up in there. They keep talking about with that Pope, the 7th Ward. What they trying to do? They said, "What, take it over?" Because they already saying that they're trying to take over the ports and shit. They saying that the Indians want to take over the seafood industry. They already own in Louisiana chicken restaurants, saying the Afro Americans like this type of rice and stuff. You see the confusion? Look at you. They're mocking you. America invested. How about Qatar? What is it, Qatar, that donated the jet or whatever, and now they're trying to wiggle themselves out of it. It wasn't a donation to the United States. They gave that to that man or whoever. That was payment. That's what's happening here in America. We're under this spell work. There are federal judges that are still looking into Trump and his alleged crimes. 7 judges were sent pizzas. You know what the pizzas, they're trying to say, if you don't shut your ass up, we're going to say that you're a pedophile. And they sent it not only to the 7 federal judges, they sent it to their families. They keep talking about all this tariff shit. What are you talking about? What is this shit really connected to? This is why they have you distracted. They let them big fat white people come from South Africa. What the fuck is that? But they're not telling you that they may be on a compound. That they stole alleged land from the American farmers to put them South Africans on. They've been here already. They've been here. I said, are they really South African? And then they want to say Dutch. They're not Dutch. They came from Germany. Those are German Jews. And we all, well, not all of us, know how they've been treating the South African black people. Come on now. And we know the connection with India and China and South Africa. Why are we out here playing games? They let them people in. What is that? And from the looks of them, it made me think, are they the descendants of Hitler? Because we all know those are German Jews. That's what they do. Come on. They need to stop with the Dutch shit. I mean, just cut that out. Those are German Jews. And I was looking at them. I said, they look like they connected to Hitler. What's really going on, right? Meanwhile, you have Sudan and Congolese and whatever's going on in the different countries of Africa. They're not trying to let them in. But I think those are descendants of Hitler. Those South Africans, personally. I was looking at them. I said, because what I heard was a lot of descendants allegedly from Hitler, even though that was a hack, ran off. They went underground. They went different places. And then the Adventist church goes over there and hold the South Africans for hostage too. Those missionaries and shit. Come on now. Come on, y'all. They're trying to change the structure of America because of their business deals. They talk about Trump being in office for almost 100+ days, and he still haven't did really any briefings. They say he's only attended 12 briefings, but only 2 in person. And again, there's a hearing right now. What's his name? Chuck Schumer is shutting down the DOJ shit, whatever is going on. nominations because they're trying to figure this shit out. Allegedly. This is all an act. What the hell is going on? They out here tripping with us over a SNAP program, food stamps. And they keep showing fat black women with their children buying groceries, talking about, well, they're buying junk food and I don't give a fuck what they do with them fucking food stamps. Just feed your kids and keep it moving. Well, they shouldn't be feeding their kids that. What are you talking about? Most food is fucked up anyway. Somebody was just showing me a bottle of spaghetti that's supposed to be, what is it? Let me see here. Gluten-free, and it had chemicals in it. Bioengineered, Whole Foods, Trader Joe's. Bioengineered food. What the fuck you talking about? You might as well buy junk food because everything else is bioengineered. And synthetic foods. The hell? Get out these people fucking business and stop trying to use black people, mocking them. And you have fucking attorneys and principalities living in subsidized housing. Can we talk about that? These Ukrainians and these South Africans, are they on food stamps? Shit. The tech people who went to Saudi Arabia, they call them tech. Jane Fraser, BlackRock CEO, Lisa Su, AMD CEO, Nvidia, I don't know, CEO, Sam Altman, OpenAI CEO. All these people were in Saudi Arabia and more yesterday. And while this person signed $1 billion deal, this person that they call Trump, which we most likely was JD Vance in costume. JD Vance is an investor in this land property company that might or supposedly might be housing these South Africans. Yeah, it's called Acre Trader. Look that up. And JD Vance actually invested into that. And they said that might be connected to where they're going to house, allegedly. This is why y'all are distracted with all this mess with the Met Gala and Puff Daddy. The Black Librarian Congress, they trying to say she was DEI. And basically they're trying to say that she was had inappropriate books in the library, which is so much of a lie. And you have to be 16 years old to get in addition to, it's a more, research reference library. But, a lot of history is up in there. I guess they don't want us to know how they used to use us in cookbooks or body parts and stuff like that. The black people and shit like that, right? They don't want that shit to know. There's a lot of information. They're trying to keep you out of there. They don't want you to know shit. And a lot of this shit is game. They went and fired the copyright chief. I'm assuming and I might be wrong, trying to copyright AI shit. How you going to copyright anything from AI? AI is a thief. It steals. It steals information. You can't copyright other people's information. A lot of this abuse of power. They said whoever the Trump administration wasn't supposed to fire that woman. That's above their pay grade. They was up there talking about that Caroline Levitt, I guess the White House press secretary. And so, oh my eye. Better fix this shit. Oh well. Anyway, probably so much shit going on. They probably trying to scratch my eyes out and pull the eyelashes off of me. The Caroline Levitt. Why are we not watching this white girl? She don't know what the fuck she be talking about. And you just listen to her. She's the White House press secretary. She's only 27 years old. She's the one that was talking about what happened with the librarian, the congressional librarian. What the fuck? And she didn't even know what the hell she was talking about. She just said any goddamn thing. And you heard in a minute they want to ban porn, online porn. But are they going to ban Grindr, the Sniffle, and Jack, and Instagram? Talking about that is too much energies out here sexually. No, they just want everything to go. They put it this way. There's new monies that have been invested in America. And is of an energy of Muslim, Islamic, new frequencies coming in to America. And now they're trying to train us and force us into a frequency. They're using black people. They're mocking the fuck out of us. And we're not seeing it. We're too busy being distracted. They put up all these little monuments and statues. They change religion. They get these cult-like niggas, have them all involved in it. And we're missing what's really going on the underground. That's what I'm talking about. All the political shit that's happening federally. And we now watching who they're bringing in and who's rising up. As black people, we should be disgusted that they're giving all these scholarships to third world people to come in to monopolize us and to study us and to birth our children. What the fuck is wrong with us? That's the spell work. We're under practical work right now. We're under practical. We're not even under spell. We're under practical. White collared witchcraft. You out here desperate and depressed. You're desperate and depressed because they have changed the scope of religion. And they're pushing that poverty into us by these other cultures coming in, and now they want to slowly take away our rights as women, the way we live, the way we dress, and they're using it in social media. But social media is nothing but is an illusion. But you better watch what's going on, because they have black people stuck in social media. The social media is a plantation. That's why when that whole dandy shit, I was insulted, because some of that, especially third world dandyism back in the day, was also connected into selling children. You had some of the men dressed in attire. And they were your own people selling women, men, children, and all. It's like Mother's Day. Well, fuck Mother's Day, because Mother's Day was a day of what? Of during the Holocaust, the white people would come in and take the children away from the mothers. I say put Beyonce where she is. She was used. And I'm like, okay, I see Rihanna is supported by them Indians. Who supports them? You got to look at the investment. These people, the reason why, if you're trying to get into acting, or you want to be a star or famous, you need a sponsor. You need to be sponsored. And whoever sponsor you and invest money in you, that's who puts you in front. That's why we're seeing Kim Kardashian now. She has some good sponsors. But meanwhile, as we're distracted with all of this, we're not even looking at the fact that they are playing in our faces. Culturally, they're playing in our faces. And they used every time they wanted to change something, they used black people. And we let it be used. I was looking at the whole ballroom scene and I was like, dang, this is a great market for exercise. I said, they should create a whole exercise. Why aren't they doing that? Do you know I would take that shit? Now, I don't have the needs for it, but I would take that shit. If you want to get people really out, create a brand of exercise energies pertaining to the whole ballroom scene. Fuck all this other bullshit. Create your brand. Do you know how much that could work out people's arms and shit? That's why you have in other countries now them taking the idea. Especially in Vietnam and Thailand. You guys are so silly. You sold your gospel to other people. You have Japan and Korea and them trying to out-sing the spirit, but their souls are different. You can't never sing like black people. The real gospel, that is, not this new age shit that's going on. Because you don't have it in your soul. You got to have it in your soul. You got to go through some things. Let them do what they do over there. We just keep selling ourselves. And everybody takes a piece of us and we ain't got shit. So we've basically deflated ourselves. Then as we've deflated ourselves, now they're mocking us. Anyway, this is Weird Renegade Witches Blog. It is up when you want some real motherfucking work done.